to upgrade the skill and also to motivate the students to get quality education. In such a way, the HRDC is organizing different kinds of program. And part of that, now we are organizing many webinars to motivate the people, students, and all public to get awareness on many issues like disaster management, climate change, global warming, and ICT applications, and also development of leadership qualities and higher education, NEP. So these kind of popular lectures we are organizing through webinar so as to reach to the public to create an awareness on particularly these important topics such as climate change, disaster management, and water resources management, environment management. So these are the very important and crucial areas where we need to concentrate more on public awareness as well as the students' participation is greatly important to reach out the people to a larger number. In such a way, the course coordinator, Professor Bhaskaran, is a professor and head, Center for Water Resources and Management. He is initiating this webinar on disaster management. And this is a very important area, as you all know. Disaster will tell never that I am going to come and to affect you. This is the thing very unexpected. We have man-made disaster and natural disasters, but any disaster, it may suddenly come. It will not fix and come. So, in such a situations, how one should get relief, how one should before the disaster or after the disaster, how we can get out of that, and what kind of management activities needed to overcome these kind of disasters. So for that, we have invited very eminent scholars on this particular area, and on behalf of us, we are very happy to welcome Professor Ganapathy sir. He is Professor, Center for Disaster Mitigation and Management, VIT Vellore Institute of Technology. Sir is a very eminent scholar and has vast expertise on these areas, and he has contributed a lot. And I also happened to see him after a very long time. We used to invite for our refresher course for environmental science as well as for the short-term courses. And the participant, whoever participated his lecture, they are got benefited and also they highly appreciated the knowledge and that experience he is sharing us. Welcome you, sir,
Thank
for
you,
this webinar. I am also happy to welcome very known person and popularly known Rain Man, Dr. S.R. Ramanan. After Ganapathy sir, he is going to deliver a lecture. He is a former director, Regional Meteorological Center of Government of India. He is a very nice person, very knowledgeable and very friendly. And also, when he was working with the Regional Meteorological Center, the people will always look him every day and what is news today. Particularly, we used to tell the students they are very good followers of Dr. Ramanan sir. He is going to deliver a lecture. He is a former director, Regional Meteorological Center for Ramanan sir's Government of India. Whether today school or a very nice person. He is a very nice person, and we also having invited him for our programs, and regularly he used to come to our HRDC, and he is supporting us. And on behalf of us, we extend very warm welcome to Dr. Ramanan sir also. I think he will join or he is going to join. Okay. Anyhow, afternoon session, we have Dr. Suresh Marichelvam. is a former advisor, Danida, and also we have very eminent Professor V.D. Saminathan. He is a psychologist and very good professor of our University of Madras, who has given a lot of psychological skills as well as counseling for the people whoever got affected this kind of disasters, whether it is national or it is a disaster, or even the student whoever affected getting in the academic as well as other issues, used to give right kind of counseling to the students so that they all get freedom from the issues. So such a person also have been invited finally to deliver his lecture on how psychological things can be added in this disaster management. So we have 4 different kinds of lectures today, and each resource persons or the experts are very eminent people in their own field, and I'm sure that their interaction, sharing their knowledge will definitely help all the participants who are participated this online webinar will get updated knowledge on these disaster management and mitigation measures. So you can carry on some of the measures as well as the mitigation issues with you, and you can tell the public or the local or the students who are participating. They can spread the knowledge and create awareness how to overcome the disasters, whether before or after the disaster things. So that way, this is a very interesting program. And on behalf of the HRDC, once again, I extend very warm welcome to all of you. And also, due to some meeting, our Honorable Vice Chancellor is going to have some meeting with the campus, and the course coordinator, Professor Bhaskaran, and the campus director, Dr. R.R. Krishnamurthy, and Dr. Madheswaran will not be able to join in this inauguration meeting, and most probably they will join later. And they are also very an expert on these areas. So I'm sure this one-day deliberation and interaction will definitely motivate you to contribute more on the disaster mitigation and management plans. With this, once again, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you for this online webinar on disaster management. Welcome you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful welcome address. And I would like to call Dr. G.P. Ganapathy, sir, who has completed his doctoral research in earthquake microzonation for Chennai City at Anna University. And he published 60 research papers in reputed international national journals and presented more than 45 papers in international and national workshops. He is nominated member for the Disaster Management Agency in Vellore district. He handled 14 funded research projects and more than 30 consultancy projects on disaster mitigation and management and mining. His recent funded research projects are monitoring natural hazards in mountainous areas of Russia and India, funded under Indo-Russia bilateral collaboration. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Respected Dr. Madheswaran.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Now, okay, 1 minute, ma'am. Just check my audio. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Yeah, very good morning to everyone. Dr. Madheswaran sir from Director UGC HRDC University of Madras, and Dr. Godan Raman and Dr. Krishnamurthy sir, and Dr. S.R. Ramanan, my dear good friend also. So I'm happy and joined over here this webinar today on disaster management. This is a UGC sponsored webinar, disaster management. I'm really proud. Like yesterday I had another meeting with Dr. Balachandran, and today I'm going to have a lecture with Dr. Ramanan sir. So two eminent people where I've been able to work with. So I'm really happy, and this today's presentation, I'm going to talk about some of the major challenges what we have currently, what we are facing, and key issues. Since I could see a lot of scholars and students are there in the list of attendees, so I'm going to throw some information where the undergraduate and postgraduate and scholars can apply their knowledge and can come out with, we have a lot of challenges in disaster mitigation and management. We can able to come out with some kind of solutions. So I thank Dr. Bhaskaran sir to given this opportunity. And shall I share my window, right? Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see the screen? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you see the disasters in all over the world, disaster is not new to us. This is like, I'm going back somewhere around 500 600 years back. So this is in the year 1138. There was an earthquake in Aleppo in Syria. 2.3 lakhs people died. And this is Shanghai earthquake in the year 1556. If you see the death toll, it is 8.3 lakhs people died. And this is in 1642. Kaifang flood in China. So you see the death toll due to this flood is somewhere around 6 lakhs. So the flood in those days, like it taken away huge human lives. In those days, it's around 6 lakhs people, they died due to this Kaifang flood. And 1737, we had a Calcutta cyclone. Again, 3 lakhs people died. And this is 1876 to 1878. We had a great famine in India, particularly South India. We had more than 3 crore people. They died all over the country, and it's long prolonged for 3 to 4 years. And so now if you see, like, the famine word we are not much using, because the whole word is eradicated from our disaster history, because we all work towards, like, eradicating these kind of disasters. Particularly famine is no more now, actually expected in very, very meager in countries like India. And this is 1839 Kuringa cyclone. Again, this is in Andhra Pradesh. 3.2 lakhs people died. And this is 1918. The flu pandemic, it took somewhere around 7.5 crore people all over the world. They said like 3 to 5% of the total world population got affected during that time. This is similarly what we are currently facing is the pandemic situation, the COVID kind of, coronavirus kind of impact. What we had in 1918 itself, we had many number of people, they died during that time. And 1970 Bola cyclone, they called Pakistan actually, but it's actually from Bangladesh. Those days they call it as a Pakistan. Around 10 lakhs people, they died due to the cyclone. And this is another dam failure in China, in China, 2.31 lakhs people died. This is 1976 Tanshan earthquake in China, 2.42 lakhs people died. And 1981 to 1984, we had 20,000 people died in African drought. 1993 earthquake, Latur earthquake in India, we have 20,000 people died. This is great Odisha super cyclone in 1999. Again, 10,000 people were died, and 1.67 million people were dislocated, and they're more homeless. This is 2001 Gujarat earthquake, 20,000 people died. Indian Ocean tsunami, again 2 lakhs people died. Uttarakhand flash flood, again 5,000 people died. Kashmir flood, again 500 people. So what we need to understand from disasters are, like, disasters exist from very, very long. It may be even from historic period. Like, it is not new to us people, like, in India. So we face all kind of disasters, like, we have more than 30 disasters in our country. So disasters are there, we cannot avoid disasters. So what we can try to do is we can understand this disaster. Based on that, we can try to mitigate or manage these disasters. So what we can do on that, one thing is, like, what a disaster will do, where some of the disasters are rapid and some of the disasters are slow onset. So what is a rapid onset disaster? For example, an earthquake is a rapid disaster. It may happen any time, so we don't have a mechanism to predict earthquake as of today, the technology what we have currently. So these earthquakes are very, very rapid onset. The preparation what we are going to do is very, very meager. We are not able to do anything in case of an earthquake. But in case of slow onset of disasters, like flood or a cyclone, we have enough number of times. Like, if you see a depression, if you want to have, like, minimum 2 days to 5 days, enough time we have in a sea. So at least when it reaches the coast, we have somewhere around 2 to 3 days time to prepare for, well prepared for a situation like a cyclone or a flood. And frequency versus severity. Again, some of the disasters, it has a very high frequency, like, it may happen every year. Say example, flood. If you have a monsoon, obviously we are trying to get a flood, and cyclones are very common in particularly in east coast of India. So every year we can get, some or other we'll have able to see the many disasters, like, hydrometeorological disasters. But in case of an earthquake, again, the frequency may be very less. It may happen in once in 100 years or 200 years. Because if you want to have a bigger earthquake, like, higher magnitude earthquake, like, 7 magnitude earthquake or 8 magnitude earthquake, you have to wait for 100 years. But the one bigger earthquake can create a huge damage. Say example, if you see the 2015 Nepal earthquake, it took almost 60 to 70% of the damage in Nepal. The whole country was shook during that time. It is only a 7.6 magnitude earthquake which has happened in Nepal during that time. So the frequency may be less, but the impact will be high. And the other one is, so mitigation measures to withstand the impact and avoid the impact. So some of the disasters, like, we can avoid the areas, so that we cannot do in some of the areas, we can avoid further developmental activities or construction practice in those kind of areas. So that will be a one thing. Or we can try to mitigate disasters based on doing some kind of resistance structures. And the study area play a major role. Say example, if you see in these two pictures, like the left hand side pictures, if you see, there is a village. Right hand side picture, there is a city. So yeah, earthquake or a flood in a city, like, village area is a different. The same flood in a urban area is totally different. Because, if there is an earthquake or a flood in this village area, it's only a say example 100 square kilometer area, it is going to impact only 100 houses or something. But if the same kind of impact it is going to create in city area, it is multifold because of the density of the buildings. So that's why, like, if you have listened, in TVs many times, people used to say, like, Chennai got sunk during flood, all these things people will say. But same time, we had more rain compared to Chennai in Kadalur. But Kadalur people also get affected, but the impact will be more in Chennai because of the dense population. So the say if you have an earthquake in this kind of villages, like, for example, if you have a 7 magnitude earthquake in this village, 7 magnitude earthquake in the city, so the magnitude is same, but the impact will be, if you say, like, the damage would be somewhere around 20% here, it will be somewhere around 40 to 60% over there in the city area. So because of the dense population. So what we need to understand is, like, what is a disaster, because where we have to look into it, that is very, very important. So disaster in terminology, we have a huge number of terminologies which is available in Google. If you Google it, you can get it. But this is the standard terminology given by the UN ISDR. The impact of a natural or man-made event upon a vulnerable community, resulting in disruption, damage, and casualties, which cannot be relieved by the unaided capacity of locally mobilized resources. So it means, like, when you are not able to get assistance from your own, when you are going to get assistance from the neighboring countries or neighboring agencies or neighboring state, then only we will call it as a disaster. So what a disaster will do, we need to understand, because these are all some of the important community needs. Because as a community, we need to understand what a disaster, whether the earthquake, the ground will open, all will go inside. No, it is not going to happen, even if you are going to have a 9 magnitude earthquake. So each and every disaster, it has its own characteristics, its own countermeasures. So based on that, we can prepare for a disaster. And how best immediate action. So what we can do. So if, say, like, somebody says tomorrow there is going to be a rainfall. So what we have to do for that? So many times we blame, right? IMD is not giving warning, this fellow is not giving warning, all these things. But even if they give warning also, we do not know what to do in many of the cases. So that we need to understand. and what is the limitation where we can work on, and how best to help other members of the community, what we can do with others. So how many of them they knows like the basic life support system, even that is not there in our country, and what government has planned to do assist the community, and how to participate effectively in the disaster communication warning processes, and how to improvise the shelter sustenance until the assistance is available. So all these things we can focus on. So this is nothing but the disaster management cycle. I'll be taking little more time on this picture because it's a very, very important thing. Like if you see, like, countries like India, we always, work on the post-disaster activities, because, it's more easy for us to immediately we can react. So we are very good in particularly on the response side, actually. So whenever there is any event, any disaster happens, the first thing is the response. The quickly we have to respond.